Hi, my name is Lanaya. Last year, early in the year, probably halfway through January, I'd felt the word miracle on my heart so many times. So I really took some time to consider over the year that I was going to focus in on this word and really see what God wanted to reveal to me with it. But it was actually just a few days after that, my life totally felt like it unraveled in a negative way. And I was unsure at that point, wow, what would a miracle look like in my life now? Because it seems so unsettled, so all over the place. At the end of May, my son became ill, and there was a potential exposure to COVID. So, he followed all the protocols, he had the test done, self-isolated, and the test came back negative. But within about a week and a half, his symptoms really hadn't improved. So we took him in and they did another COVID test, did some blood work. It seemed that he was okay. And he came out and went home. By Friday morning, when I checked in with him, he said, Mom, I'm actually feeling pretty good today. I have this kind of weird swelling on my forehead, but otherwise I feel okay. And by the end of Friday, he had deteriorated quite significantly. My son took him to the hospital again. He went in and was incoherent. He could not follow instruction. He couldn't give verbal indication to anything that was going on. And within a couple hours, he was sedated and put on a ventilator to protect his breathing. They had no idea what was going on for him. Saturday morning, my son turned 19 in the ICU. And by Saturday night, we finally got a call from the doctor, and they found a massive infection in his sinuses. The doctor said, we never see this here. Like, it just doesn't happen because sinus infections are caught so early. And the sinus infection was so bad that it actually developed 2 significant sized cysts on his, one was on his forehead, between his brain and his forehead bone, and the other one was sitting behind his left eye. They really weren't sure how he was going to navigate it, if he was even going to survive it. It was pretty severe. And Monday morning, we got a call from the ENT to say, we really want to get your consent to do an operation to help reduce and drain the infection so that his body has a better fighting chance. They kept following up, over the next few days with scans and the neurosurgeon checking in, the ENT checking him, and the infection was just not reducing. It was still, the antibiotics were still not having the effect that they should have had, but he was physically looking good. The ENT suggested it was time to actually go ahead and do the surgery. They did the surgery this would be about a week and a half after his initial intake into the hospital. This surgery was, again, there was some risks involved with it. It seemed like it was going to be a really invasive surgery, and it ended up being quite a bit more simple than I believe the ENT even anticipated. So what happened after that, when the surgery was effective and actually the sinuses were able to drain, the antibiotics were then able to really start working and reduce the abscesses that had formed on his forehead and behind his eye. And within days, it was just days, that abscess on his forehead was half the size. And it was days after that it was even half the size of that. So 2 months after, when he had done his run of antibiotics and he went in for that final scan, ENT gave him an absolute clean bill of health. The abscess was gone, the infection in the bone was gone. He was healed and did not need any further antibiotics after that. Our family doctor, you know, who'd been receiving all along the way all of these reports, and then he saw the scan at the end and he said, what happened in this boy's life is a miracle. That he healed from the infection is one thing, but coming out of that whole event without any residual effects is a miracle. And our doctor, who's not a believer, still calls him every time he phones, Miracle Boy. So yeah, that's my story.